If it goes out again, I swear to God, I'm done. We're just gonna do whatever we've had done. We're just gonna call it nights.
We're just gonna tweet the rest of our thoughts on the topic.
I'm
Back
not.
to
I'm not really kidding. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do.
sad. That's taking me back to my roots before I joined in.
All right, so we're not gonna do a call your shot because I don't know who's in it. So someone's gonna win. Super good at predicting. Knockouts championship. Marcus Deanna versus Mickey. I'm pulling for Deanna, but I think Mickey's gonna win.
God, I
Another
hope.
one or two.
God, I hope not. I'm going with D. I'm going with Deanna, man. Mickey, I'm still just waiting to see how Mickey's gonna do in the match. Because Melina was a great surprise. I can't be assured of Mickey. I'm hoping for the best, but I won't be shocked if I see less than that. So yeah, but I'm pulling for Deanna there.
We also got Trey Miguel, Steve Macklin, and El Phantasmo for the X Division title. My heart says Trey. My soul says Phantasmo. No, flip those. My soul says Trey. My heart says Phantasmo. My head says Macklin because I can't have nice things.
Man, screw Macklin. Phantasmo's a douche. Um, as a character, I don't know him legitimately. Unless it's Ty P, I'm calling him a douche regardless. Um,
Fantas douche.
it's exactly fantastic douche. Put it on a shirt and a hoodie.
The bag
Um,
of the Fantas douche.
but it's Miguel's time, man. He's been building towards this since he's come back. He was the begotten rascal,
Yup.
and now it'll be great to see like him holding gold, and then for his boys to tweet him with MSK because I think they might be still tag team champions if I'm not mistaken. To see all three of them with gold, man. Like I think it was a good thing that he was probably the last one left because I don't know if he would have had this run that he had. So I think he's been building towards these changes. Arsenal, his look, his attitude, the music. It's his time. I do not want to leave Bound for Glory with the title on yet another foreign talent.
Yeah, yeah.
Right now, he damn near feels foreign, so just put it on Trey.
Main event: Alexander Cage. I mean, it's Alexander, obviously. He's the only guy they've built up. So, if he doesn't win, I'll be genuinely surprised. Genuinely surprised. More so, do we think we're going to get Morrissey and Moose in a tag match, or do we think we're going to get Morrissey and Moose and Eddie in the Call Your Shot match?
I want to see Morrison and Moose in a tag match. The call your shot thing is, I guess, can be just like a happy mystery thing, but it
Mm-hmm.
could go either way. I almost want, and this is why me and Chad can't book wrestling because it'll get too wacky. Like we'll try to be logical, but it get too wacky because in my mind, I'm bringing in like a Gia Carano bulked up version of Lish. Like she freaking went and Captain America herself over the weekend, over the last couple of weeks that y'all took her out. Um, or have Liz show up and have her meet and hide somebody to tag with Eddie. Because Callahan was a great partner, but he's legitimately out. God bless him. And that ankle, hopefully, it looks normal now, or at least some version of it. But I'd like to see a street fight with that. And for like one of the big surprises of the show to be somebody we don't expect to be tagging whatever show up and go off, man.
Here's hoping. We're going to try to get through the rest of this because my internet is now being kind of a douche. One thing we wanted to touch on before we head on over is if you have the time, a GoFundMe has been set up for Ace Austin and Gia Miller of Impact Wrestling. Their apartment caught on fire this morning. I don't know how it happened. Apparently, it started on their balcony.
Oh, wow.
It says on their front porch. Luckily, no one was hurt. They all got out okay, even the cats. But the pictures of it are pretty devastating. So if you can find them on Twitter or on any website, because they're all kind of reporting on it. And if you can donate, if not, it's okay. Just kind of letting y'all know what's going on. Thankfully, they're okay, and it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, man. God bless them too, man. And then, like Chad said, man, if you can, go donate, whatever you can. And yeah, just glad they're okay because that obviously could have went a different way.
So we're going to try to bang this out in 20 minutes. Let's see if we can. MLW has 2 new champions. We have a brand new World Heavyweight Champion in Alexander Hammerstone, and we have a new Middleweight Champion in, yes, this isn't a blast from the past. It is happening today. Tajiri. Okay. Marcus, I haven't seen that show yet. I haven't seen anything from last week because I've been so bogged with work, but like that's going to be something I'm going to do either tonight or tomorrow is watch Fightland and the Bryan Danielson Suzuki match, and obviously this week's episode of Impact. So that's on my to-do list. I'm happy with the champions. I think that it gave Vice TV a nice opportunity to build around some names that people might want and know. Here's the problem, though. 2 of their biggest stars may be gone in the next few weeks, as Tom Lawler and Mance Warner are going to be free agents. Now, Mance Warner is expected to go to AEW because I think he's already appeared or has ties with people who have appeared, so like that seems like a big get. But Lawler could end up anywhere. I wouldn't mind Lawler in Impact. I think he's a good wrestler. But Marcus, do you think this is a bad thing for them or a good thing for them, considering one of the names they're talking about bringing in is Enzo? And another name that is coming in is going to be Will Ospreay. So do you think the losses of Warner and Lawler are made up with the appearances of possibly Enzo and the short stay? Because it's only going to be like an excursion for Ospreay. It's not like a full-time thing. But do you think that those 2 debuts even out the possible losses of Lawler and Warner?
I'm not exactly familiar with Lawler and Warner, but I would imagine that from a quality standpoint and however long they've been with the company, you like their loyalty over, I guess, instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
And while Ospreay is a superb talent anywhere he goes, his the air around him is very much thin because of certain behaviors, and Enzo has a very checkered perception in the industry as well. Who knows? Like I said, I mean, I think Osprey is good anywhere he goes because he can put on a show. I think Enzo will be a different thing. But as far as the other 2, you can't really be mad as longtime Impact fans. We know people come, people go. And that might actually be great to see your talent come through that system and then elevate to a place like Impact or Ring of Honor, what have you. But I can't be mad, man. Guys need to work, and it's not like, Enzo anything is the devil. And like I said, Ospreay is a show. So for some place like MLW that's extreme quality, anything they can do to get positive press, like you said, even when it comes to Impact and Bray and those boys, I'd cheer for it.
Mm-hmm. Joe Dombrowski is also signed with MLW, which should bolster the commentary booth. I haven't heard him in a while. I need to refresh myself on him. So that's going to be interesting. And the Thursday debut on Vice for Fightland, the MLW show, garnered 40,000 views on just Fightland, on just Vice alone. Not a great showing, but not bad. It's Vice. You're not expecting to get it like huge. So, and honestly, MLW is probably Vice's second biggest property right now behind Dark Side of the Ring, because I don't know anything else that airs on Vice.
I was just going to ask, like, ain't that the home of Dark Side? So I think look, you got to start somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
And it's the concept of them being on Vices. Like I said, you want to make steps forward. So, I think those numbers are slowly but sure to go up, because if you counter that kind of gray space that Dark Side of the Ring kind of lives in, and then elevate it with like a new wrestling product of quality, I think that could be both good for the company and the network. So
I agree. Interesting note, though, before they landed on Vice, there was conversations and discussions about MLW appearing on Tubi, Fox's free streaming service, which you and I watch pretty regularly because they have Lucha Underground.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Tubi's getting into the original programming thing as well, because I forget what I saw, but they have an original show debuting on Tubi eventually, and I don't know what it is. It's like some comedy, I think. I don't remember what it is. But on top of original programming, they're trying to bring on MLW as well. And now I don't know if it was going to be live or if it was going to be like pay-per-view only or if it was going to be the regular TV show. But that was originally where MLW was going to pop up on. But apparently the WWE put a kibosh on that because they're like, "Hey Fox, we're on your predominant channel. Why you getting embedded with these snoochie boochies?" So that got pulled, and they're no longer going to be on Tubi anymore, which is just typical WWE bullshit doing WWE bullshit things. So, what are you going to do? Hopefully nothing, because fuck it. I hate that company so goddamn much. Marcus, by any means necessary, NWA's next upcoming major show is going to feature a main event, including maybe it's not the main event, but real Nick Aldis is going to be returning to the NWA to tag with Trevor Murdoch against Thomas Latimer and Chris Adonis. That's a match going to put butts in seats.
What? Wait a minute, Magnus going against his brother?
Yeah, go figure. And I like that the image they use is of fucking Trevor Murdoch in a suit. What? Why? The other matches on the card include a steel cage match, which I think might be the first ever in the Billy Corgan era. They're going to have Jax Dane versus Crimson. I didn't know they were feuding, but then again, I'm not watching the product right now because I don't want to fucking subscribe to Fight TV.
Yeah.
They're going to have the Hex, Marty Bell, and Allison Kay defending against Kylie Ray and Tootie Lynn. Then we have Colby Carino, the son of Steve Carino, taking on Da Pope. NWA World Women's Championship is going to be Kenzie Page versus Camille. Tim Storm versus a to-be-announced wrestler. Judeus with James Mitchell is taking on Saul Renaro with Danny Deals. And then in something I can only assume is made-up language, Scion versus Mims. Like if I said that in a sentence, you'd think was having a stroke. Scion versus Mims. Scion versus Mims. It makes no sense, but there you go.
It sounds like a two makeshift teams, two makeshift like creative football teams that just want to run a scrimmage.
Yeah, it's the off-brand version of Madden. That's too funny. All right, well, this will be when is this? The 24th. It doesn't say. NWA Tix. Is it a live show or is it a streaming show? Doesn't say. Oh well. Speaking of things that are oh well, Buddy Murphy's going to be debuting in New Japan. Oh well. They had a run.
Oh God, hilarious! If you want people to get to focus on something other than the fact that he has a very awkward name, you got to go and level up in that competition stage, man. And one of the first names you run into is somebody like Tomohiro Ishii, or Kenta, or Shingo, or my boy Hiroki Goto.
Mm-hmm.
Really anybody. That's where you go. He need to kind of get some of that stink off him and be looked at for his talents, which he didn't necessarily get to do a lot of. Probably not the way he wanted to. So I can't be mad at him, man. You go with where you can do your best at. So
He needs a brand new gimmick and a brand new name. Because I don't give a fuck about him. Zero fucks are given. Speaking of zero fucks being given, Kane Velasquez is going back to AAA. Only took him fucking a year. Apparently, they're going to have a big old show. I don't know who else is on the card. It looks like Pentagon and Phoenix, although I could be wrong about that. Mystico, the former Sin Cara, he's got his old name back. Kenny Omega is going to be on the show as well. It's the Rejaya event, Triple Mania Rejaya. Maybe that means rain. My Spanish is anything. So here's who we do know. Kenny Omega, Kane Velasquez, the Lucha Brothers, Dragon Lee, and Mystico are for sure they're going to be there, and I think Psycho Clown as well. So, not a bad show. Marcus, are you on the MMA bandwagon? Because Kane Velasquez is back in AAA. Junior Dos Santos seems to be in AEW and threatening to beat up Roman Reigns, which I'm 100% for.
yeah, I'm also I'm kind of rocking with the Tribal Chief these days. I just appreciate the new swag, but yeah, this MMA stuff is interesting. I just because I thought we talked about the potential of the North earlier, and I'm like I wouldn't be interested either if I see the guy in another company playing supporting character to America Top Team. Um, that's basically invaded a wrestling company.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the last time I saw Cain Velasquez, he was severely disappointing us. Damn, what was it at a Crown Jewel event
Yes.
against Les? So yeah, no, no. So I appreciate the stuff that Josh Barnett is done and stuff like that. But like you said, this is Triple Mania. I don't know, man. I think with Triple Mania, they got their guys, and those guys do great. And obviously, somebody like Pentagon and Phoenix on fire right now. But I don't know. We don't get a chance to see a lot of that MMA translate into something extremely entertaining when it comes to wrestling. They got personalities, but unlearning some of them ways. Sometimes it translates because they're legitimate ass whoopers, and sometimes it don't.
I think it's not Triple Mania. I think this is like a secondary Triple Mania show. Because Triple Mania happens in August usually. I imagine if this was like WrestleMania 35 and then November was WrestleMania Survivor or something like that. I think that's what this is. You know? I think. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Then we have John Cena's new trailer for Peacemaker. That came out. It didn't suck. I was interested. They made him look like he wasn't balding. So that's cool.
Yeah, hilarious. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in the role, man. I think he's chewing up the scenery with it. Be refreshing to see him in something that's not wrestling related. Um, we've seen that The Rock is the biggest star in Hollywood. Batista has been making phenomenal strides to really prove himself as a thespian. And Cena's now doing his thing. And I think this is kind of the perfect thing for him because I think he kind of thrives in this element where he can kind of cut loose and not be so kid friendly, if you will. So I dug it. I think one of my favorite parts of the trailer is the look of Vigilante. That's a cold suit. And the fact that his Peacemaker's travel companion and trusted, I guess, road dog is a legitimate eagle. So it's cool.
So let's move on to WoW, Women in Wrestling.
Yep.
AJ Lee going to be part of it. I think we spoke about that. Maybe not. Thoughts on AJ Lee if we haven't spoken about it? Being a part of this
Yeah.
brand as I think she's going to be the announcer as well as part of the production.
Yeah, I think the way we spoke about it was me sending you a very funny meme related to Tessa um, about the situation. If
I'll
you,
have to check my texts or tweets again.
it was wow, she's ist,
Oh
but
yeah, I remember now.
Twitter's undefeated. But yeah, I mean that's cool to see. Obviously, Punk's back doing this thing. He looks happy and whatnot, and she's gone out and done a lot of stuff in terms of writing books and obviously getting in being an advocate in the mental health space and what have you, and just going off and finding other joys outside of wrestling as did he. Now they're coming back to it in their own individual ways, and I think that's cool. And specifically Lee with the strides she made in WWE for women as a woman that would not normally be seen in the positions that she was in, and bringing her knowledge and all her sincerity to WoW, I think is a great addition, and obviously it gets a lot of immediate eyes on this product as it's trying to reinvigorate itself. Although that was an interesting photo that kept floating around with her in the foreground and Tessa in the back.
So I think we're going to see her return to the ring. I know everyone's saying she's not, but Jeannie Buss is running. Wow, she has a big hand in this. And if you run the Lakers, you run businesses to make money. And you got to think Jeannie Buss and the other higher ups in WoW are going to be pushing for Tessa Blanchard versus AJ Lee at some point. So I would expect it. Her husband proved never say never. So
Yeah, I mean, just look at it. And obviously, I don't know a lot about Jeannie Buss. I think she may have did. I think the last time I kind of looked into her, she did an interview on Rosenbaum's podcast. But she doesn't come off as somebody that gets invested in something that she's willfully ignorant to.
true.
So, I definitely side with you that she would, what she's doing, know who Lee is. And maybe she is able to, coast her back in the ring. Maybe that's the thing long term. But Lee kind of just wants to, I guess, wet her palate, if you will, on commentary. And then we'll see how it goes from there.
So that takes us to a report. The first major WoW feud was something that they were hoping to get done. It was going to be I mean, damn, like, all right, you got to give him props. It was going to be Tessa Blanchard versus La Rosa Negra. Now, if you're new to the story, here's the skinny of it. Tessa Blanchard was accused of using some racial epithets or racial slurs towards a wrestler overseas. That wrestler was La Rosa Negra. Only she and Tessa were there, among two others who are not named. So no one really knows what happened. It's a lot of hearsay. But, it kind of ruined Tessa's run on top of her own selfish ego. But apparently they reached out to her. She said no. Sean Ross Sapp reported that after they reached out to her. Apparently, okay, so let me read this because it's far more than I realized. Sapp then reported that a few companies, including the NWA, tried to bring Blanchard and Negra in and described Wild's pitch for the two women to work together somehow on screen. Though it's unclear how this appearance would happen, Sapp explained that Fightful was told the idea is varied from an apology to an attempt to easing tensions. As for as for Rosa Negra's feelings about the situation, Sapp reports that sources told him she was insulted by WoW's offer. So she's not willing to work with the Tessa.
Yeah, man, we can't look that specific exchange that we still might not have as in depth detail as we could. They know what it was. She
Mm-hmm.
knows what it was. And it might be far worse than what we even heard about.
Mm-hmm.
So, nobody can tell her how to feel or how long to feel it. So I guess you can appreciate the gesture, but you can't make somebody, come in and work for you. Some things are more important than money and the look of it, because this could be a PR thing.
Mm-hmm.
It comes back to wrestling. The first person she wrestles is the person that essentially got her in a situation to take a break from wrestling and to kind of close that. That's kind of like closing the wound immediately once you quote unquote recovered. So yeah, man, good for her. She dealing with it on her own time, and she'll get over it on her own time.
Mm-hmm. That takes us to the next story. Amanda Huber, the widow of Luke Harper. I'm trying to remember his other name. What was his name? Brody Lee.
Yeah.
She has joined All Elite as an announcer, very similar to what happened with Eddie Guerrero and Vicky Guerrero after Eddie passed away. WWE brought on Vicky Guerrero so she could earn a living for her family. One of the few nice things I would say the company ever actually did. Cody tweeted out, "Great day. Please welcome Amanda. Is it Huber or Huber?"
I think it's Hubbard.
Okay. We're gonna go with Huber. If we're mispronouncing it, we don't intend to. It's simply I don't listen to interviews and people talk, so most last names are things I have to figure out on my own.
Yeah.
She's been brought on to the community outreach team. Tony Khan has placed her on the best team as we approach each community. AEW performs and makes strides to do good when when the cameras are on, and more importantly, when they're off. Welcome, Amanda. Amanda tweeted out, "Words can't express how happy I am right now. The ability to be part of AEW and work with the community is legitimately a dream job." She thanks everyone involved. So we'll probably see her on TV every once in a while, but she's not going to be like a character. So
Yeah, I mean, look, regardless of how people feel about AEW, and people certainly make it known on Twitter, um, a lot of people are, either all for them, all against, and not necessarily in the middle. I find that I'm in the middle because I know how important it is just for them to exist.
mm-hmm.
So I'm not one to really pick hard sides like that unless one side is just a freaking deplorable. Um, but I mean, the fact, like you said, the comparative Vicky, like nobody expected her to do what she did. She really took that ball and ran with it and really carved out a space for herself, and took it very seriously to the point where she's still continuing to be involved and likely helping other women in that regard. I just think it's a cool thing, what that company has done for that family. All
Mm-hmm.
going all back to when, Brody was initially sick, and for that company to come together as a whole in an era where there is a lot of forced transparency in terms of this 27 8 news cycle, if you will. Everybody knows everything. They didn't let anything about that leak.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to do that, what they've done for his son, involving him and the Dark Order and all that stuff. And I think he got like a contract with the company, so he'll grow into that. And then what they're now doing for the husband, 'cause, one of the hardest jobs in the world has to be a single mom, in
Mm-hmm.
the specific way that she is. So for them to help their family out in the way that they're doing, without it seeming like it's invasive, in terms of interrupting the product in any way, but keeping them in the family, I think it's a beautiful thing.
So let's talk real briefly about Bloodsport 7. Here's the lineup so far. Tiger Roas, a former NXT talent, is going to be facing off with Josh Barnett. The rest of the card includes Davey Richard taking on Yuya Uemura, Starboy Charlie versus Yoya, Eric Hammer versus Bad Dude Tito, Marina Sharif versus Masha Slamovich, Tom Lawler, who we just talked about, versus Alex Coughlin, Calvin Tateman versus J.R. Kratos, and Minoru Suzuki versus TBA. Marcus, I love Bloodsport. Tune in. It's going to be Friday, October 22nd, so this week. It's going to be this week on Fight TV.
Yeah, I don't I don't know a lot of those names, but it does feel like it's gonna be a lot of necessary ice baths, um, after everything goes down, and maybe even before. Um, but yeah, like, because a lot of the stuff I get from Bloodsport kind of comes through you, but it doesn't sound like he's missed yet with the event.
No.
So,
Some of the events have been bigger in terms of name value, but they're always
yeah,
entertaining.
yeah. So, kudos to him for keeping that up and getting a lot of names on both sides involved. And David, just pass through Impact. Yeah,
Please.
just please pass through Impact. For
Please.
me, just to no other reason to hear Chad audibly gush about it after the fact on this show.
Please.
Just pass back on to Impact.
Please.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it. Lastly, we have to talk about the return we knew was coming. We all knew when Leo Rush said I was retiring that he wasn't going to retire. Unfortunately, Leo Rush is a copycat in the diminutive black wrestler retiring, but we know he's not going to actually retire. Retirement angle. The originator being ACH. Well, guess what? ACH is back. Oh, no one saw that coming. He popped up in what was it? AWE, I think. AAW. No, hang on. Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. So AWE. So he confronted Buddy Murphy, aka Buddy Matthews, and apparently they're going to be building to a match with that. Marcus, ACH is back. Thoughts?
Yeah, there's a name I haven't heard for a while. Obviously we were there when he was having his blow up situation, if you will, of everything coming out of WWE. And also, he needed to take some time for himself and kind of reevaluate himself. I think not just as a wrestler, but also as a person and where he stands and what he means to the business and vice versa. So, um, I had a feeling that you come back, you kind of say stuff when you're in a heated moment. He was in a very just heated moment that he was unfortunately allowing to be very public and not really coming off in the best way. So I kind of expected him to pass back through. And also, I think even after that, we saw him do some stuff, but sometimes it takes a couple tries. But yeah, it is getting interesting because I feel like we're the only ones keeping count between him and Leo Rush, or what's happening. So, and who you said is the first opponent was gonna be?
Buddy Murphy, of all people.
Yeah, so that's interesting. But it's good, man. Never go complain about seeing quality black wrestlers do their thing. I just hope that he's over his whatever he was going through. Because like I said, irregardless to him being as a talent, you can obviously see at that time that was a human having a very human moment. Unfortunately, to the John Q public who was kind of having a lot of fun at his expense, which is unfortunate, but with these mental health conversations, you can't always uh, see people be the best of people to people that's going through stuff. So.
Here's hoping that he finds his love of wrestling again and sticks with it.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. So we're gonna 22 skidoo before I lose my internet yet again.
Sick.
RealNerdCorp.com, RealNerdCorp. We're on Twitter at NERDCORP. We're on Instagram at Real Nerd Corp. Marcus, you can be found on Twitter at ParadoxKid, ParadoxKid.
That's me.
You can also find him on his other podcast, The True Penny Show, TruePennyShow, over on Twitter at True Penny Show. Find me on Twitter at Chad Nerdcorp, ChadNerdCorp, and on the Instagram at Chad's Photo Hut. Spell it like it sounds. We'll be back next Monday for even more wrestling action. Sorry for all the interruptions. And we'll come back at you Monday with a recap of Bound for Glory. So for Marcus Green, I'm Chad Porto. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. And remember, as always, to watch more wrestling. Marcus, take us home.
Good night, mate.